So I founded a wildlife sanctuary in 2000. Actually, I founded it with my partner Jean and 7 wolf puppies. It's 160 acres, just on this side of the Grand Teton National Park. Let me click here. Oops, back. These are some of our animals. Some of them can never be released, and we keep them for life. And that means we have the capacity to have really profound relationships with them. Others are rehabilitated and released. We have retreats to help. One of my major goals is to help us really, truly, deeply connect with wild animals because of the richness that adds to our lives. So we have retreats. We do allow visits, but only custom visits for a period of time because it's not a zoo. We want to give you the time to genuinely feel and connect with our bears and our wolves and our bison, etc., and time to be in their presence and to share presences together. So that's the overall focus of it. From my own background, I had a degree in biology, very hardcore scientist father. Also went into psychology because that was really interesting. Worked in the Supermax prisons for a while, and then someone, which I loved actually, and then someone invited me to help raise 7 wolf puppies. And I don't know about you, but I dropped everything. And that kind of was the end of my life as I knew it and has been ever since, and that was some 30 years ago. So what I want to share with you are possibilities for us to open our imagination to what's possible for us on this earth. Back. That's the title, because I want to give you a sense of an invitation to a world where we all actually can vibrate together, if you will, to open a door to exploration. The animals invite you, I invite you to this. We tend to live day to day and lost in our own human lives and forget that we're embedded in something much larger, and that leads to a lot of problems and a lot of we could have a lot more joy in life if we were connected more deeply. So that's the introduction. So a question for you, using your imagination. What if our Earth is lonely for us? And what if we are lonely for her? And we don't realize it because we're so busy and because we've been distracted and we haven't been taught to attend. What if our Earth does not want to be saved? What if she wants to be loved? And loving her will save her. That's just an orientation. An Australian Aborigine told a friend of mine, who says the forest doesn't see you when you go into the forest? We don't think of that. We think of us seeing the forest. But who says the forest doesn't see you? And who says the forest doesn't welcome you if you come in friendliness? I just thought that was very interesting. So that's the first question, first thing. What if it's lonely for us? And that's one of the reasons that we're lonely too, because we are her child, her children. The next point I wanted to make is that life itself is a celebration. If you think of any seed bursting forth, any baby bursting forth, life itself, without all the things that happen afterwards, is sheer celebration. That's one of our bears. And they remind us constantly of the joy in life. We forget there's beauty, like Louis said so beautifully, there's beauty, and there's wonder, and there's awe, but there's also joy. And I don't know how much we attend to that, and the bears remind us of that. That's me with 2 wolves. If you look on my face, it's because wolf energy can be a little intense. But, yeah. And then I was walking once in a beautiful, beautiful meadow, and the sun was shining, and the birds were singing, and there was dew on the grass, and I saw these beautiful little blue flowers called blue flax, and their petals were open to the sun, and they were just facing the sun. I could feel them drinking it in. And I was saying, I wonder if flowers can have joy. I suspect they can. So, to be alive in this beautiful, self-organizing universe, to participate in the dance of life with senses to perceive it, lungs that breathe it, organs that draw nourishment from it, is a wonder beyond words. Yes. Another point in terms of connecting with something that's larger than us, Physics is now saying pretty clearly that intelligence and consciousness is a fundamental property of life itself, of the universe itself, that all life has a quality of intelligence and consciousness. And life is a vast, creative, seeking intelligence, there comes some life, expressing itself in each life form in a unique way. Everything we meet is uniquely individual. Every one of our bears is different, every one of our wolves is different, any one of us is different. We're all unique. I think that runs throughout all life. And we're so human-focused that we don't attend to the fact that there is intelligence everywhere. We live in a sea of intelligence. Forests are intelligent. Elephants are intelligent. These are some of the animals I live with whose intelligence I have seen. And it's interesting, I can look at these pictures and because they come from a sense of aliveness, they look different to me often. I can see deeper levels of intelligence in them, or spirituality, if you will. Badgers can be sweet. It's one of my greater findings. They really can, you'll see in a minute. So animals can be a portal. I'm talking about wild animals at this point, but it can be any animals most of you might know, with your own birds or fish or cats or dogs or horses. They can be a portal into a sense of something larger. And one of the other things I've learned is what happens if we are attuned. Renee talked this morning about attunement, and I would say yes, let's also attune to the animals and the world and the trees and the forest and the nature around us. And what happens if we are attuned can be quite incredible. So I'm going to show you a few pictures now about the companionship that's available for us, the healing companionship, the connection that's available for us, the mutual healing. It's everywhere. When there is trust, then there's energy flow. That's my partner, Jean. He's no longer with us. But you can see the level of trust and connection and communication, and it was mutual. It was mutual healing for both of them. They walked through doors together. This is called This Windwalker, the Cougar. I have an enormous website, lots of pictures, lots of stories. You can look at all these things. I also have a book of animal stories that I've written, so when I refer to some of these stories, there's a lot of detail if you want more of it. So, animals are naturally curious. This is Bluebell the buffalo meeting one of our little foxes. This is Earthfire herself. We had 7 wolf puppies. I named them Moonbeam, but you can't have an organization called Moonbeam. So this is Earthfire, and this is not her puppy. She was an Earth mother who really sort of adopted any life. So I wanted to show you the connections that are possible between man and cougar, between buffalo and fox, between wolf and a strange puppy, between wolf and wolf. This is Cucumber, a wolf who had 2 near-death experiences. She wanted nothing to do with us until then, and then she really did want something to do with us. There's something about what happened in our caring for her that switched everything around. These are 2 bear brothers, one of whom passed away, and there's an incredible story about the connection between them. And all these stories I'm telling you are documented, witnessed by many other people. It's very important to me because some of the things that happened are so incredible, so out of our, incredible in terms of our regular way of looking at life, that I really wanted to document them. So that's a story that's Huckleberry Bear, and Major Bear. We have a learning disabled bear called Humble Bumble because he was not too coordinated. He's something developmentally not quite right. And that's his mentor, German Shepherd, who helped him. He helped lead him, protect him. He followed that dog like a mentor, like a guru. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of feeling of the connections again. That's my partner, Jean, with one of our deer, a 3-legged deer who called runs like the wind because he could. It was amazing what he could do with 3 legs. No, you don't put an animal down just because you have to take a leg off. My personal opinion. This is my partner in conversation with one of our bears. You can see the connection between them. That particular bear became paralyzed, semi-paralyzed, and the vet said, put him down. I said, no way in hell. That's another story. He became completely healed and started to really connect to people differently after a human being helped him heal. I don't have time to tell you that story, but I just wanted to let you know that those kinds of things happen. Me with a wolf, a Tibetan Lama with one of our wolves. The thing is, when there's no fear, animals want to connect. They just do. In the wild, there's fear. They're afraid of us. We're afraid of them. At our place, there's no fear. And all of our animals want to connect. They like to connect. This connection might not have been quite as willing. It's a little grizzly bear and a very sweet babysitting dog. That's my partner with a badger, and yes, he still has his nose, or had his nose. Badgers can be sweet. It depends on how you treat them and whether they feel safe. That's me with a coyote. That's a dog raising a bob kitten. Me with a wolf. I love the arch of that picture. One of the retreats we hold, sometimes we hold all kinds of retreats with conservation organizers, people from like wildlife.org, and also shamanic retreats. Here, Cucumber, the wolf that you saw earlier, who had 2 near-death experiences that changed her. And here she came, we had a retreat in the yurt, and she came to the yurt where she had never been before. Never met those people before. She was really shy, and she went around in a circle and met every single person in the yurt. And there's a whole other story behind that. This is a Native American woman who was meeting her for the first time and decided then she had to give us a white buffalo, which we have. It's called Nima. Cucumber. Heart to heart. This is typical of wolves. I could take this picture 100 times because they just are that way, that connected. This is a picture of the same cougar that you saw earlier. He used to be, if you look at other pictures, he used to be an aggressive cougar, exactly what you would not want to meet in the wild. And as he got older, he began to become paralyzed. And this woman came to help do craniosacral work. And the most astounding thing happened when I had a wolf who had dementia to her, not dementia, she was semi-paralyzed from a brain infection. She responded immediately. The cougar responded immediately. We had another wolf who responded immediately. And then they healed because it was energy work, and wild animals are very responsive to energy. Western medicine is very harsh and often not needed. And we had a bear, and I have medical records of these. If you're interested, I have a YouTube video called Energy Healing Wolf, and there you can see one of our wolves receiving energy healing for the first time ever. She wasn't in the yurt before, she didn't know the healer. I grabbed a camera. You see this wolf immediately lie down, accept the healing energy, take this deep breath, and lie there for 45 minutes, and then ask for more. And she was after her brain infection, she was like this, all like epileptic and cross-eyed. She healed completely. It wasn't immediate because this isn't magic. It was sort of like going to a chiropractor. It took many sessions. She healed completely. This is Bluebell, the buffalo bison, accepting energy healing. The animals come running for it if people come with that capacity. And Nima, our white buffalo, trying to get in on it from the side. Here, no words needed. This is Windwalker, near the end of his life, accepting energy healing. So, living all of this, I came to the feeling that what we really need is reconnecting. I think we all know that. And I developed something called Reconnection Ecology. And the idea is to help us reconnect, and reconnect deeply. Someone mentioned earlier that we humans only change when we're desperate, which is true, but we also can change when we're really deeply moved. And I think many of us are very often deeply moved, by something in nature, and then we kind of set it aside because culture doesn't support it. But I think that's where we need to live from. That deep connection is where the truth is, and then to make decisions from there, and to make policies from there. So the idea is to reconnect deeply, to help us trust that reconnection, because often we don't. It's so different from everything we're taught. And then to act from that connection, to give real importance to those experiences. I run story sharing workshops online and not online, but also I'm working on a book of stories, which I would warmly invite you to share. Any of you have profound experiences or just rich experiences in nature that really affected you, I want to include in that book because I think we need to be supported in this approach. It's so different from the other purely intellectual approach. So I invite you, please, to contact me to share stories. Everything's totally confidential unless you want me to just share it. So it's essential that we expand our sense of community to truly include all living beings in our consideration for all of our sakes. And if all life is sacred, which I believe, not in a religious sense, how shall we live? That's a pretty interesting question. So if all life is sacred, it's a radical statement, because if we believe it, it means a profound reordering of how we live, consume, travel, and function together as a society. But we need a radical shift. To solve our ecological crisis, human consciousness must expand to connect with all life, with its multitude of wisdoms, intelligences, and spirit. To shift our ecological crises, we need to connect deeply and fall in love with other life forms. Connection opens channels through which flows information, strength, and healing, leading to creative, practical solutions, and I would add long-term solutions, not quick fixes. It's essential for us to make a fundamental 180-degree flip in the way we create the systems we use to serve our needs, based on mindfulness, on carefully evaluating needs versus wants, based on what we give real meaning to. Like real meaning to. What do we give weight to? Money, cars, etc. Do we give real meaning to these experiences and the connections that enrich all of us? What do we give real meaning to? And then making decisions while immersed in the warm energy of connection with other living beings. That way we're going to make connections that are meaningful, deep, meaningful change. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the threshold where two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. Thank you.